As the plane took off from LAX, I had no idea that this would be the trip that changed my life. This summer was already going crazy. It was 2020 and we had already been quarantining because of COVID. There were riots everywhere because of the Black Lives Matter movement. It was pretty amazing, actually. My friend Trung was already on the trip of his lifetime, driving from Florida to the Southwest. I was lucky enough to be able to tag along, go camping, do all the fun adventure things that I love to do.
Only in two-wheel driver now, so I could air down more maybe. Maybe I should air down a little bit. It'll be less bumpy for you at least. Gotta follow this Jeep right here.
I'm getting a video. I am. Look at that.
Usually Jeep people don't like 4Runners or like Toyota people. Like
all of this off-roading led us to the part of the hike that we couldn't drive anymore, and we ended up walking, and we finally made it to Devil's Bridge. This was the second time in my life that I had gone off-roading, and the first time I was scared to death. So this was a much more pleasant experience, and I realized that it was actually really fun. It was really great to get to this place and walk around and get something to drink and stay in the air-conditioned stores a little bit. We did a lot of hiking in Sedona. It was super hot, but it was seriously so much fun. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was so beautiful. The day I arrived, it was the 3rd of July, and then the 4th of July was the next day. So we went up to the Vortex at the airport to watch the sunset and celebrate. This was the hike up to Devil's Cathedral, and despite the heat, despite the heat, I began to remember how much adventure plays such a role in my life, and I can't get enough. We paid a visit to this temple, this replica of a Nepalese stupa, on the last night before we headed out to Lake Powell. So the next adventure that Trung had planned was to rent kayaks and go kayaking down the slot canyons of Lake Powell, and unfortunately, due to COVID, the marina was closed. So instead, we found another little area of Lake Powell that we could drive onto the beach and hike down onto the sand. The beauty of this was it was so impromptu, and Trung just happened to have a hammock set up on his car. We just happened to be in our suits already because we were planning to kayak, and the water just perfect. So, I mean, come on now, like, what more could you ask for from life? So at this point, I'm kind of just trusting the process. I know Trung has some stuff planned, and I'm just going along for the ride. And as we're driving down the next leg of the trip, it's like alien landscapes. It's unbelievable how beautiful this was. So desolate. I mean, you can see here, nothing is growing here, and yet there's these amazing landscapes. And So, like I said, I don't know exactly where we're going, and all of a sudden we drive up on this cliff's edge, and Trung is like, this is it. We're here. This is where we're camping. And, oh my god, just wait for it. I mean, I've never been obsessed with cars before in my life.
From here you can see our camp. There it is. There's nobody here in this camping spot except there was a car way over there. I think they're gone. It's pretty isolated though. It took about maybe 2 or 3 hours off-roading to get here.
So, leaving Alstrom Point, our next stop is the Grand Canyon, the North Rim. And Trung has another amazing camping spot picked out, and this time we actually cook at camp instead of eating out, which we did all the time in Sedona. And we were really isolated out here with no one around. Again, it was beautiful. One of my favorite snacks, peanut butter on Dave's bread. And pizza, of course. The pizza we got on the way to the Coral Pink Sand Dunes National Park, which was on the way to Zion, and just a little quick stop, but it was so cool. Like, the sand was so soft, and I spent pretty much the whole afternoon rolling around in it and having so much fun.
This is the coolest place ever. So much fun. The sand dunes and the sand. Never seen anything like it. Look at this. This is so cool.
camp on the sand dunes. We went a little ways away and we were in a little campsite. Anyways, the next morning we left and went to Zion, and as you can see, we ended up hiking the Narrows, which was amazing and my most favorite thing to do in Zion. Trung's shoes fell apart, so that kind of sucked. We still had fun. It was nice playing in the water. It was really hot out, and so the water felt really good. And yeah.
Oh, it's a video.
So it was kind of a bittersweet day because it was our last night camping. The next day we were driving out to Vegas, but we lived it up, I think. We enjoyed ourselves and had a great time, and the camping spot that we found that night was epic. It was a last minute find because we were going to drive 4 hours to Lake Mead, but by the time we were done with the Narrows and dinner,
It's super bumpy.
it was like late.
Go to the left.
So anyways, we looked on freecampsites.net.
Yeah.
And found this sweet spot of the mountains above Zion, overlooking Zion town, and it was so gorgeous. I mean, look at that view. I finally woke up to see the sunrise on the last day, and it was unbelievable. One of the life-changing decisions that I've made is to wake up early and see the sunrise. Another decision is to learn how to drive a truck like this on terrain like this, because why not? I mean, I can learn how to do a lot of things. This looks like fun. And what it's really about is being able to reach these really beautiful remote places that not very many people can get to, and so they're relatively untouched, and it's really a beautiful feeling to just be so isolated and feel like you're the only one in the world, on top of the world. Vegas is always such a weird shock to come to after being in the wilderness for days and not showering and not seeing people. So we met up with Nick in Vegas, and thank you, Nick, for hosting us. I mean, you took us to the most amazing places to eat. We had a great time staying at Caesar's Palace. We went to the pool, we got margaritas, and all in all, it was a fantastic ending to an amazing, life-changing trip. And when I say life-changing, what I really mean is that I got in touch with the essence of why I love to travel and why it's so important for me to get out of my everyday normal and get my world turned upside down and see the things that are normal for me become not normal, and to have things that are not normal become totally normal. So my plan is to continue on these adventures, to chronicle them, and to share this with the world and really change the world in a way to have people open their minds to something that is different and new. And I think that's what travel really does. So I'm going to continue doing it, and I'm excited for what's coming next.